Not sure of the last bit you are saying, but if I can, I can explain. So when we started as a science issue, physics issue, and we want to look back 2000 years of the Cartesian history, and then I convert those, break it up into two parts. One is theoretical, basically physics. Physics means how we see things. How we see things is by contrast. Contrast means if you have black on white, you see by contrast the difference between the two. If you see red on white or white on red, you see it by contrast. So for moon to see, you are looking at a contrast between the sky and the moon in front. If the moon is very big, then the light is quite a lot, and background belakang actually is sky, so the contrast is very good. So this is physics. Basically we see things, and this is the eye, basically the instrument is eye. That's why I say every person is an astronomer, because they all can see. And because when they can see with eye, this is already looking at the object. So you look at the sky object, you say you are astronomer. You see another person, you don't say you are astronomer, but essentially I say everybody that has an eye. Then you use a binocular, or sometimes you can use a paper roll. You can see from one end, like last time in navigation, they just use a long tube, so cut out the scattering, cut out the light from side, you just look at a smaller space. And they use this like a telescope. And then of course you have binoculars, you have now other improvements to it, but they all have limitation, and they improve because they can see less contrast. So in a garden you see green leaves, you see red roses on top. But if you have red leaves and red roses, you won't see the contrast very much. You don't notice this. That's why the contrast. So physics is about calculating the sky brightness, which is related to the sun at the sunset, how much light is there, and then looking at the moon light, which is also from the sun. The other one is scattered, the other one is in a different way, and the difference between the physics is about finding that light from pure physics point of view by looking at the positions, calculating it. But observation is you go outside and you see the moon, and then you see the moon at this level on this date, then you saw the moon at this height and at this date, and then you pull them together and see what is the minimum. That we say you develop a criterion like observational criterion. You don't understand why, but this is what comes out. This is like a farmer in Kada, for instance. If they are doing the planting, they can tell you what the weather is going to be like by observing for a long time. Is it going to rain tomorrow or this evening or what? So farmers become like by observation. They don't understand what meteorology tells you, that there is a storm coming this way and there is a movement of this or that. So I think these are two. So my first thing was, which is in my book in 84, was to bring them together. Actually both sides must tell. The observations must tally with the science. Physics is science. Observation is just observation. So to bring them together, you make an adjustment, and this is called composite criterion. It took me quite a while. Because unless we are sure of the criterion, then anything further down is going to be difficult. So we did that. But you see, once you put all these criterion, and you can have a little bit of touch up here and touch up there, that this is too low, this is too high. But when you impose the Sharia principle of Ikhtilaf Matale, that means you can use one sighting for a wider zone in practical terms. If you actually want to beat the you want to beat the record, youngest moon seen 14 hours, 12 hours, or 10 hours, or 12. If you want to beat something, then you go for science. But if you are looking practically, we are looking at practically at the end of the day how the Muslims can be together on Hari Raya, on Ramadan, Awal Muharram, So in doing that, you of course are, Sharia has made it easier actually. So when you have a full scientific understanding and then you bring in Sharia, it helps you to implement in a practical way, making things easier for you. So the Ikhtilaf al-Matale, now we can say, also allows you for a wider zone. Say if you can see the moon here, you can use up to this range also or something. And so then the criticalness of calculations become less. It is what you say academic exercise now, because Sharia has simplified things. But if you understand the science, that's why all the Islamic scholars in the past, Ibn Taymiyyah for instance, his 20-volume book, you see huge discussion about moon. Any ulama of those days will talk of physics and science and what is the criterion, and for prayer times also, how many minutes, this and that. So I think this is what we have moved on to actually. That we started with a very complicated exercise, but now we have reached a simplifying exercise in practical terms, and which is actually very nice, I think, in that sense. And that's why I think that we did publish a book on Sharia, I think in those books, at our world conference, we also had ulamas from different places, and we picked up, we got a separate collection which is together with one side, Sharia aspects. There was somebody from London, there was somebody from Ibn Rushd, I think I had written one article, so the Vice Chancellor for International Islamic University, Tansiri Abdul Rao, so he came to our conference and he highlighted to me that there is an article in Arabic and he got it translated and sent it to me, and we included that actually. This is 6th century. So we had this small collection, but maybe we need the fresh blood, so we injected into it, and probably that's what I have been looking at for the last 2-3 years. As I said, I do suggest to Dato that maybe we should actually organize one. Maybe we have Dato Mufti from Sarawak, maybe he can take the lead, something along that line. And we discuss and we present from scientific point of view how to bring that together, and we can go further. Okay.
InsyaAllah kita buka soalan yang terakhir. Jika ada sebarang soalan, jika ada pandangan, jika ada pengalaman pribadi yang ingin dikongsi oleh para peserta, boleh kita buka sekarang. Jika ada lagi, okay, silakan pengarah keadaan ini.
Thank you, Prof. Dato, Dr. Ilyas. For me, nowadays we always talking about climate change and sustainability. We only focus on SDG, Sustainable Development Goals. But regarding to these topics you are talking today, Renaissance on Islamic Science and Technology, I think we can see the importance of the ilmu falak in sustainability. But for me, what I see in our society, I think most of us didn't. We don't see the importance of ilmu falak to sustain our world.